Hi Last Cloudians, and welcome to a first look on our sexiest chubby man. Well, there's not much competition to begin with. Nonetheless, his shift looks really good. Scheduled to drop tomorrow after maintenance, we did get a sneak peek vid on how he's like. In this video, I'll be having a first look at him and probably give you a better sense about him and if you will like him when he drops. Now let's get right into it. Goroth the Insatiable. He's a dark physical attacker who has indeed some unique mechanics on him. Now taking a look first on his skills, S1 looks like a spinning slash with 5 hits, and S2 is a double spinning slash with 7 hits. Why isn't it 10? Okay, anyways, we can see S2 has a bigger knockback. Now S3, ooh, sucking mechanic, I like it. And wow, look at that knockup. And it's not just on small enemies. I think IDIS did this on purpose. Showcasing this knockup is the highest knockup in the game. And question here is, how big can we go? By that, what I mean is, how large size of enemies can he still do such a high knockup on? I would guess that what we see on screen is the biggest, as I'm not expecting him to be able to knock up huge bosses, for example. Now that would be really shocking, but I like that even more, as this skill also increases a 3k damage cap. So his ultimate also sucks. Literally. So that makes 2 sucking abilities. Oh my. Oof. Damage to all and recovers HP for himself. What is unique here is it adds a mimicry for enemies hit. This is important as it unlocks certain mechanics of his when facing tasty enemies. So far I'm guessing tasty enemies are only these 3 types: fish, bird and beast, as we will see later on in the passive skill section. Let's move on to his traits. First one is Tyrant's Stomach. Now when he kills an enemy, he gets a few buffs and power-ups, stacks up to 5 times and resets per wave. There's a difference between normal enemies and tasty ones. Killing one normal enemy will give him 12% HP cap and recovers 10 of his XCT. If the enemy is also a tasty type, he will additionally gain 12% STR and a 1k damage cap. So to really utilize this trait, he has to firstly be the one dealing the killing blow, and next to be fighting tasty type enemies, which is kinda limits his potential. That's when his ultimate comes into play, as it converts enemies into tasty food for him. Now let's look at the rest of his kit before I get sucked too deep into this. Now trait 2, Insatiable Hunger. When he doesn't kill for a period of time, he gains a buff called Insatiable. Now this lasts till he dies or when he kills something. Now I'm unsure how long it takes without killing before this activates. What this buff does is it gives him a constant HP drop plus 70% physical damage. Wait, what? 70%? I hope this is not a typo. I am aware of this statement at the bottom. Now 70% is a really huge number, and not only that, also gives a 4k damage cap and increases his movement speed. Looking at these 2 traits, it does give a better idea of how his playstyle is like. Let's take a look at his passives. Cooking is one I mentioned previously, which adds tasty type to enemies hit by his ultimate. This I feel is the main ability to making him work to his potential. Hearty Eater gives him a physical damage cap of 2000 and physical damage to guarding enemies by 120%. Are you kidding me? Tank killer? Oh no, it's even better, a guard killer. Now if you are depending on guarding to increase survivability, this is our first actual guard killer in the game. Yes, we did have Shockwave to break the guard, but this doesn't break it, it just deals more damage to the unit. Now guard reduces a max of 50% damage with steel guard. If my calculations are correct, this basically negates the damage reduction of guard, adding a little bit of damage on top of it. Now next we have Ingest Penalty. Against enemies with 50% HP or less, physical and special damage plus 35% and cap plus 2000. So there is a condition to achieving this, but it is a nice addition to his damage capabilities. Slice and Dice Julian. Okay. Requires him to equip an axe. Skill damage and cap increases as hit count increases. Max at 40% and 2k damage cap with 50 or more hits. Another skill with damage and cap increase that requires a condition. Looking at his hit counts, is pretty average even with dual wield. We'll have to see how his skill animations are to tell how easy or hard to achieve combos with him. But then again, his can also be contributed by teammates. Baran will be high on that list to keep combos up. Meat Dinner. Better start, and when defeating enemies gets a buff which has a chance to proc a heal. The buff is able to heal a full bar of his HP and ends after that. I would like to know how much per tick does this heal, as that would change my take on it. Feels like a skill auto regenerate though. Creature Mastery. Effective against spirits. Takes 10% less damage from them and chance to recover 50% magic damage as HP. Don't really rate this at this point. Lagropos counter maybe? A bit too late for that. Maybe we'll get a really strong spirit in the future, but with the next two skills, it's all about magic survivability. Definitely making him really strong against PvE enemies with strong magic damage. Potentially the best in that department right now. First time we are seeing Fury 2 plus 30% STR, unlike Baran who heals off damage dealt. This for Goroth could allow him to do big damage at that point, but I've never really liked Fury as it's so hard to time and it's very situational. Dark High Drive, nice 30% physical damage. Now looking at the rest of his skills, Brute Slayer and Special Boost, really good range of Slayers there. He has Poison, Research and Corrosion Fang, both depend on his auto attacks. We'll have to see the hit counts over there. And Auto Brave and Haste, Dark Drive, Dark Attack raise 2 for dark damage increase. Terror Mouth so far, he does Poison Infliction, so that would help. Break Boost and Breaker for more break damage. X High Boost needs no explanation. Now that we've gone through all that we can in the notes, I'm gonna summarize what I'm seeing here. Now apparently he gets beefed up as he kills enemies and works best if said enemies are tasty. Guess he gobbles them up or something. So giving him STR and damage cap buffs. However, to fully utilize that will depend on the enemy types or his ultimate. We'll need to know if the mimicry on enemies doesn't have a timer on it. If said stage has only a boss in it, trade 2 procs and he gets a semi-decent damage buff and cap. Now he has no crits. Okay, totally no crits. Dark Attack raise, attack ups. Sharp Eyes, Awaken, X Boost, Dual Wield, these are all missing in his kit. Now those are the basics that I would like personally on a physical damage dealer usually. And there are also, it also depends on how you want to build him towards. Like for example, Sky Lord, if you are going to focus on his S3. And Terror Mouth 2 if you are going to focus on inflicting of status ailments. For me, he is a really hard to explain character as many of his damage increases or damage cap increases only with certain conditions. There are quite a few ways to build him with whatever SC that's left after the basic stuff. Although from what I can see here is IDIS is trying to put out a character with multiple build potentials, I'm still not quite sold on how it worked by the looks of him. Too many types of conditions to wrap my head around for now. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Goroth and the Insatiable and if there's anything that I missed. Now lastly, let me do a quick review on the Arc, Abaddon All-Consuming King. So let's take a look at the skills. It gives you X boost, which is nice. Now we can have additional 4 SC for X boost. And magic damage healing, not something that I like. Two-handed X, well, it's good on if you're gonna single wield, but in most cases you're gonna dual wield if you're gonna use him as a physical damage dealer. Well, potentially you can, in some sense, maybe try him as a tanky bruiser or tanky damage dealer with a two-handed axe skill on him. It's also possible, right? So let's take a look at his the axe skills. Physical attacks are effective against tasty enemies. So when an axe is equipped, so killer and slayer damage plus 30%. Okay, this is the highlight for me. So when defeating an enemy, recover one basic status ailments. Okay, so basic status ailments is good to have. The main thing, like I said, is the slayer damage. It increases slayer damage. So if the enemies are actually tasty, for Goroth himself, he already has brute slayer, and he also has a lot of buffs when the enemies are tasty. So it will be very important to make the opponents tasty. So now if you want to use this arc, you probably have to make sure that his ultimate is always available. For you to fully utilize this. Now it depends on the first line. Physical damage are more effective against tasty enemies. How much damage does it really add? Because if it adds like a 30 to 40%, and then it on top of the slayer damage, then this could potentially be good damage. However, the condition is still there. They must be tasty. Now thank you all for watching and going through this first impression with me. I'm thinking that, you know, he's probably gonna be kind of fun, trying to make enemies tasty and stuff. Whether it's too gimmicky, maybe, but then again, you know, we're gonna have to see how it goes when he actually comes into the game. So anyways, if you have enjoyed the video, like and subscribe for more Last Cloudia content. That's it for me. So see you all in the next one. Xez here, and I'm signing out.